Hell yeah. Hello and welcome to Go Grab That Day. Today I'm just going to talk about, with it being this time of year, I'm going to go through maybe a little list of horror movies I recommend. Just to do something different. I don't want to always be, I've said this previously, but I don't want to always be talking about MMA and just sports. I like to keep it interesting for as many people as possible, but as I'm a fan of movies as well, which friends of mine will know. So yeah, I'm going to run through like a little list of, not like your typical horror movies, but just ones I think maybe not a lot of people have seen. And would have been, what are we today, the 24th of October here in New Zealand. So yeah, run through a little list of horror movies that I like, and maybe people will enjoy, especially those of you poor fuckers who are on lockdown. You might get some enjoyment out of these movies. Again, just like the first episode and the intro, there's a little bit of noise from our neighbours, which I think you can hear there at the pool table, and a little bit of chatter in the background, but hopefully it'll drown out a little bit with the mic. Hope everyone is good and you're not suffering too much back home with this lockdown. So I'll run through, I have a little list written down here of horror movies. They're going to be a little different from your usual, Halloween 45 and all those other movies that were dragging on for a bit too long. So the first one on my list is The Village. The Village is, what fucking year is it out? 2004. The reason I like this is it freaked the absolute crap out of me when I first saw it. I think I actually saw it in the cinema from what I remember. I thought it was really good. It's got a mad twist in the end of it. I'm not going to give away, even though it's however many years old, but well worth the watch for any of you looking for a horror movie to watch this year. It's kind of, I suppose a little bit of the storyline is, it's about a village. About this weird kind of old-fashioned village, and there's these weird little creatures that are haunting the village. But I won't say any more than that because I don't want to give it away. No spoilers there. But well worth the watch. It's actually one of the best ones. The list I'm going to go through as well, it's not like a top 10 like number one. It's just a list. It's just a list of like kind of movies I like. Some that you will have heard of, some that you hopefully won't have, but you might check out. But this definitely is one of the best. It's one of my favourite horror movies, and kind of a thriller as well, I suppose. But it's good, and it's got a bit of a mad twist in the end. So definitely check that one out. Next on my list is, a good movie, is Signs. But the problem with this movie, I think it's very good. Again, it freaked the crap out of me when I first saw it. The problem with those of you that have seen, the Scary Movie franchise, where they kind of take the piss out of horror movies. When I first watched this, it scared the crap out of me. After Scary Movie made fun of it, I can never take it serious again. So if you've seen Scary Movie, it may not work for you, but nevertheless, it's a good movie, well worth the watch. You got Mel Gibson, released in 2002, but he is actually, funny enough, both movies were made by the same director. I didn't do that on purpose. I hate trying to say this guy's name, but that M. Night Shyamalan, I think he directed both movies, and I think Joaquin Phoenix is actually in both movies too, both Signs and The Village. But both well worth the watch. If you've seen, I can't remember which one of the Scary Movies, it was Scary Movie 4 or whichever one it was, with the brothers, the Wayans brothers. They really pulled the piss out of this movie, so it doesn't help if you're trying to watch it and get a scare, but if you haven't seen Scary Movie, this is worth the watch. It's very good. The next one is on Netflix. It's not that old a movie, but it might slip kind of unnoticed if you're not keeping track of Netflix, I suppose, like me. It is a messed up movie. It's called The Platform. It is a horror movie, but it's pretty sick. It's pretty kind of a twisted movie. Like, I've seen it and I would never watch it again, but it's just that it stuck with me so well. So any of you sick fuckers out there who like those really weird kind of twisted movies, like my brother Brian back home in Ireland, he'd love it. The Platform, it's about a platform. That's basically what it is. But yeah, it's kind of this weird kind of a, I think it's a bit of a prison movie where the inmates kind of get fed via a platform that lowers down onto each level, and you get the story as you. It's a weird movie. It's got kind of a deep meaning behind it, but pretty sick, pretty twisted. So go for it. Hopefully you enjoy it. The cast, I don't know the actual cast because I think it was originally a Spanish movie. Yeah, Spanish science fiction horror. So don't know any of the cast or anything like that, but it's worth the watch. It will stick with you. Put it that way. It's one of those kind of twisted movies. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy that one. That's what the third one. Another movie I really liked. This one's pretty common, but it's kind of one of the radar too. Is Land of the Dead. So not like, you've got Dawn of the Dead and The Walking Dead and all these, pretty much the same kind of thing. But I liked this one. It was quite sick. Not the craziest kind of storyline. It's your typical zombie apocalypse kind of movie, but yeah, it's pretty good. Again, pretty sick. It's, I think, from what I remember, it all takes place like after the world has been taken over by all these zombie looking dudes, and yeah, that's all. The cast in this movie, you'll recognize some of them. Why am I always finding tough names for myself on this? John Leguizamo, which, like me, you probably won't know who he is, but you'll recognize him when you see him. He's kind of one of those guys who's always appearing in movies. Usually the bad guy, actually, but he's a pretty good actor. As for the rest, I don't recognise a lot of the others, but it is a good movie. Anyway, check it out. Good movie. Regardless of the list, it's not the best of the bunch, but it's worth the watch. It's like Halloween, Halloween, you want a horror movie, check it out. Okay, where are we? Next one is End of Days, which is actually Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's actually pretty good. It's, I suppose, the storyline, it's a kind of a supernatural horror movie. I think Gabriel Byrne is in it. He plays like the devil or Satan, so it is pretty good. I like the kind of, what I remember, it's pretty freaky, but it is, it's good. For an Arnold movie, it's not bad. It's not his typical action kind of slow motion screaming, get to the chopper kind of movie, but it is, no, it's worth the watch. What I remember, it's been a while since I've seen it, but as far as I know, it's aged pretty well, because I still see it on TV and stuff. But that's number 5. So go on next. Yeah, this one is pretty good. This I only watched recently is Brightburn. I think it was on Netflix. No, I don't think it was on Netflix. I think I just rented it on YouTube. But it's pretty good. It's, I don't know, can I give away the cast? Yeah, it's kind of like a twisted version. Oh, sorry, not the cast, the plot. But it's kind of like a twisted version of Superman. Kind of like a bad version of Superman as a kid. I don't think I'm giving away anything by saying that. But it's pretty good. It's not a huge cast. Elizabeth Banks, she's in it. She's usually in comedies, I think, from what I remember. Kind of cool because it's a bit different from me. If you're into comic book movies, which I do like, but this is kind of a different twist on it. It's pretty good. And it's new. It was only released in 2019, so it's not bad. And it's quite sick too, actually. But for all you sickos out there. So the next one is Eden Lake, which is one, when I was kind of going through movies, I was trying to remember them. This is one that I remember from quite a few years ago. This is a pretty sick movie too. It's Michael Fassbender is in it, and Jack O'Connell too, who's he was in that show, the UK show Skins. He's one of the big characters in that. It's pretty good, but it's a pretty, like a lot of mostly Irish and British actors in it, but it's good. It's kind of more thriller than horror, but it's well worth the watch. It's like a couple that go to like a lake or something just for a night away or something like that, and it turns a bit ugly, and a bunch of kids kind of end up kidnapping them and torture. I don't know if you call it kidnapping when it's kids that are doing it to you, but anyway, it's a pretty good movie. Check it out. What's the next one? Dog Soldiers. This movie I hadn't seen in years. Actually, I remember watching it when I was only I was only young enough, a long, long time ago. But Dog Soldiers, it's another kind of British movie. It's. Now, I haven't seen this in a while, but from what I remember when I watched it, it was pretty creepy and yeah, pretty freaky. But it could be one of those movies that might have aged really bad. I don't know, but I recommended this movie. It creeped the shit out of me anyway. Story behind it. I think it's a group of soldiers are on like a training mission somewhere. I believe it's based somewhere in Scotland or in England, somewhere like that. I can't remember 100%, and I don't want to just read it off this, but I want to kind of go from the top of my head. But they're on like a training mission or something like that, and they start to get hunted by these weird creatures. But I don't want to give it away, Andy. So go check it out and see what you think of it. I think it is pretty good. The cast is pretty small in that too. It's all you got. The only one I recognise there is Liam Cunningham, who he's an Irish actor, but he played a part in Game of Thrones, but I can't remember the name of the guy he played for the life of me. But he's a good actor too, yeah. But small cast, but definitely check it out. It's a pretty creepy movie, pretty good. Those of you as well that, you know, if you don't mind, if you're following my page and whether it's the Instagram, the Facebook, or the actual channel, if you check out any of these movies, you do watch them over Halloween, give me a message, tell me what you think of them. Tell me if I was full of shit or if you liked them or not. Next on the list, so I'm nearly gone through my full 10 already. I probably could have made a bigger list, but the next one is Don't Breathe. A lot of people have probably seen this, but it's quite good. I happened to come across it by accident. I think it was on Netflix or something one night. But yeah, when you read the story of it, it sounds pretty boring, pretty crap, but it's actually quite good. Yeah, I think it's about this. I don't know if they're a couple or they're just guy and a girl and a friend of theirs. There's three of them all together. Yeah, so that's not a couple. That's three. Go into a house. I think they like break into a house because they're looking to rob it, and like all movies, it turns ugly and goes from there. But yeah, I think the guy living in the house is like an ex-marine or ex-soldier or I don't know, Vietnam War vet or something like that. You kind of guess from there, but I remember being pretty good. I think they're actually looking to release a second one. I probably shouldn't have said that because I might have given something away. But anyway, watch it, check it out, and let me know what you think. You can abuse me if you think it was bad. Last but not least, this one even for me is not great, but it's kind of a fun horror movie. It's Happy Death Day, which was released not that long ago, 2017. It's good. It's actually not. It's better than what you may think. I remember when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, bullshit. Thought it wouldn't be worth the watch, but it's actually not bad. It's kind of, I think it's got like a little bit of comedy thrown in there and stuff like that. It's not bad. It's better than your usual horror movie, but yeah, it's kind of a funny enough story to it, and it's worth the watch. That was what I said already, 2017. I think you can rent it on YouTube. I think that's where I saw it. The cast again, not a huge cast, but it's pretty good. I think it's kind of the story behind it is kind of like a take on Groundhog Day. I haven't seen the movie, but I know the story behind it. It's this girl, she keeps having to relive her murder and trying to avoid it, trying to find a way to not get murdered. Well, yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it, and I'm not giving that away by saying that, I don't think, because it's in the name and it's in the advert when you watch it. So yeah, check that out. It's a pretty good movie too. So yeah, that's the full list. Gosh, they're pretty quick, but yeah, they're all worth the watch. Check them out. They're kind of all a bit different too, which is what I try to do. Try and do your average. Some of them are your average, basically horror movie, but all the ones are. There's a couple of them there that if you haven't seen them, definitely check them out. Like I said, The Village, Signs, they're both brilliant. The rest of them, they're decent, but those two I put top of the list. But like I said, they're not your best ever horror movies or greatest I've ever seen. It's just my take on a few different ones that might be different from your average list. Yeah, so that's it. So go away, enjoy the movies, leave me alone. And like I said, if you do watch them, if you do check them out, for those of you that haven't seen them and you want to insult me for putting you onto these horrible movies or you enjoy them, let me know on the YouTube channel or whatever, and please keep subscribing, liking, posting, doing whatever. I'm kind of having fun doing this and starting to get the hang of it. So see you all, and I should have another video hopefully up next week to talk about the fights. But yeah, check it out. I'm going to keep looking for new content and stuff like that, so appreciate it. Thank you.